Let's just dive right in, shall we? Today, we're unpacking some profound spiritual teachings to figure out the actual mechanics behind real, genuine spiritual effort. We're talking about that big question: how do we truly dedicate our fleeting lives to deep cultivation? It's a fascinating look at time, karma, intention, and, the eternal soul itself. So let's get to it. Well, the source material hits us right out of the gate with a massive reality check, asking us to confront just how little time we actually have. I mean, we constantly calculate our lives in decades, right? But the texts point out this wild paradox. Humans are always busy planning for 1,000 years, yet we struggle to even live past 100. So, stripping away all our comforting illusions about tomorrow, how long is a human life, really? To answer that, the texts share this incredibly striking quote from the legendary Buddhist monk, Jaegong. Life exists only in the breath between inhaling and exhaling. Wow, just let that sink in for a second. It's a massive wake-up call. The teachings emphasize that once a practitioner truly grasps that their entire existence hangs on the very next breath, everything shifts. You instantly value your time differently, and all that procrastination on your spiritual growth, it literally just stops. So, truly realizing this impermanence, what's known as anicca, is actually the foundational step toward awakening. It's kind of like an abandoned house. Once the soul moves on from the physical body, all that wealth, all that status, even our closest relationships, they literally just dissolve. And listen, the texts aren't trying to be depressing here, not at all. It's purely designed to light a fire under us and spur immediate action. And there's this ancient proverb that really drives the urgency home. A coffin is for the dead, not just the old. We do this all the time, right? We tell ourselves, oh, I'll focus on my spirituality when I'm older or when I'm retired. But as these teachings forcefully remind us, the timeline of our lives is entirely out of our hands. Section 1. Defining true spiritual effort. Differentiating between merely existing and genuine practice. Now, the source highlights a gigantic difference between just doing enough to get by, basically just going through the motions, and true dedication. It's so easy to justify half-hearted efforts, telling ourselves we're doing the best we can, but in reality, we're often just holding back because we're distracted by worldly things, or maybe we're just scared. But the teachings, they don't accept half measures. They demand your absolute, wholehearted commitment. Jigong offers another brilliant metaphor for this. Having a field without plowing yields no harvest. It's so simple, but so true. Just having the opportunity to cultivate isn't going to cut it. I mean, if you own a super fertile field, but you outright refuse to plow it, you're obviously not getting a harvest. In the exact same way, just hearing these spiritual teachings means absolutely nothing unless you put in the grueling, everyday sweat equity to actually apply them. Section 2. The power of vows. Overcoming the toughest obstacles in cultivation. Okay, to push through those really brutal obstacles, the texts introduce this amazing concept: vow power. And according to the teachings, a vow isn't just making a casual promise. No, it's actually an awakening of your soul to its eternal duty. You see, before we all got so tangled up in worldly ignorance, our original nature was completely pure. So making a vow is essentially the process of returning to that grand original intent. And we have to understand, the ethereal stakes on this journey are just unbelievably high. Cultivators aren't just trying to become, slightly nicer people. They're actually attempting to ascend and completely break free from the cosmic cycles of suffering. And to pull that off, they're navigating an intensely daunting spiritual landscape, fighting against some serious cosmic resistance. And not resistance. The sources describe karmic power as terrifyingly strong. We're talking about the accumulated baggage from literally 60,000 years of birth and death cycles. It acts like this massive, inescapable gravitational pull. So the text suggests the absolute only thing capable of pushing back against a mountain of karmic debt that size is an equally massive, totally unwavering vow power. Section 3. Passing the heavenly tests. Refining the soul. So how do we handle it when things get incredibly tough? The texts completely reframe our hardships. They say, unpolished jade has no value. Unmelted gold is worthless. It completely flips the script. While our human instinct is always to play the victim or blame others, the teachings argue that these trials are actually the necessary friction required to polish our spiritual jade. Look at it this way. Without being tested in the absolute furnace, you simply can't prove your true dedication.
The absolutely crucial step here is simply recognizing these heavenly tests so you don't fall for their traps. The texts lay out very specific trials we're all going to face. Will you let your ego take over and become arrogant? Will your mundane job totally consume your spiritual time? Or what if someone slanders you? Will you just throw in the towel? Recognizing these exact pitfalls is literally the cheat code for passing the test.
Section 4. Holy work above all. Reorganizing our ultimate priorities. So how exactly do we navigate all these traps? Well, it all comes down to totally reorganizing our priorities. The source draws this super stark contrast. Mundane work feeds the physical body, which, as we've established, is entirely temporary. Holy work, on the other hand, feeds the eternal soul. If you over-index on the mundane, sure, you might build a really beautifully decorated house, but you're leaving your spiritual bank account completely empty. The texts strongly argue that by actively following 3 specific steps, we actually stop being victims of our karma and start becoming the architects of our own destiny. First up, you have to maintain completely unwavering faith. Second, when you get tested, you've got to shift that urge to blame into genuine gratitude. And third, fully embrace the holy duty of helping others awaken. Seriously, this is the ultimate blueprint for proving your dedication. Which brings us to a really vital question the source material leaves us to reflect upon, especially when we consider whatever finite number of breaths we have left. True spiritual dedication means embracing impermanence, making those unwavering vows, and putting the eternal soul first. So the ultimate question is, will you spend your remaining time on the mundane or the eternal? Because at the end of the day, the choice of exactly where to exert your effort is entirely up to you.